Hello and welcome to another episode of From the Green Room. I'm Brian Zelmer, Director of KU Presents at Kutztown University here in Kutztown, Pennsylvania. And during this extended admission, we're actually bringing this little series of talk shows to you to bring artists to your home or wherever you're tuning in to watch these. And we're hoping you're getting something from this. We're trying to get people from all different parts of the industry. And you're invited, as always, to be part of the conversation. So whether you're tuning in on YouTube or on Facebook, feel free to put your remarks or questions into the comments section, and we'll be able to see them and hopefully get to them during the show. Before we begin, and in case you missed our big announcement, we're actually returning to live performances in person and doing live streams right here behind Schaefer Auditorium at Kutztown University on the last 3 Fridays of this month. And you're invited to either participate and come as a socially distanced masked audience member here in person, or you can also tune in to the live stream if that's more your thing, and that's totally fine. It is free and open to the public, but we're asking for people to reserve tickets so that way we can get you the live stream. We know how to get that link to you, as well as be able to manage the and stay within capacity limits out on the lawn. Here's a short video to see our lineup and some more information about Arts Alive.
KU Presents is excited to announce the return to live, in-person performances with a series titled Arts Alive. This series includes 4 performances over the course of the last 3 Fridays in April. You can attend these outdoor performances in person or virtually from anywhere via the live stream. While this series is free and open to the public, tickets will be required to maintain capacity limits for in-person and to obtain the access link for joining digitally. We kick things off on Friday, April 16th with the Irish and Celtic music of Poor Man's Gambit. Then, on Friday, April 23rd, we explore iconic rock and pop songs from the 60s and 70s as they are reimagined through jazz with the group Living Standards. And on Friday, April 30th, we present a double feature, starting the evening with the Latin rhythms of the Tierra Caliente. Quiero agua sin hielo. Quiero agua sin hielo. And we close the evening and our short series with a contemporary ballet performance by Sharp Dance Company. The performances begin at 6 p.m. each week. Get your tickets now or learn more by going to kupresents.org. That's kupresents.org. And we'll see you at Schaefer.
So yeah, we're super excited about that. So make sure you go to kupresents.org, get your reservations in now before we do fill up. Tickets are going pretty quickly. So, all right, let's talk to our guests today. We have de Tierra Caliente. They perform Caribbean and Latin American music, often dubbed Latin party music. Their catchy melodies and intoxicating lyrics, sung in Spanish, English, and Portuguese, gets everyone up and dancing. They fuse Latin, Caribbean, and Brazilian rhythms into their songs to inspire an irresistible North-South American party. The band members hail from Philadelphia, Puerto Rico, and Cuba. They've released 2 albums and played hundreds of shows throughout the U.S., Colombia, Brazil, and Puerto Rico. Let's welcome them to our program. We have Yube Nieves, we have Raul Cisneros, Bronson Tennis, and Steve Cochran, and there's also Papo Buda, but he is unable to join us today. So welcome, guys. How are you doing?
Great. Hi. Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Great to talk with you. And in case our audience didn't notice, one of those 4 performances coming up in person in our Arts Alive series is you guys, de Tierra Caliente. First of all, I have to admit that I don't speak, I speak 5 words in Spanish, hola, adios, oh my gosh, please and thank you, which are totally, and the 5th one I'm not allowed to say on camera. So, but and Google Translate gets a lot of things wrong, but I tried it and I just want to test how close it is. De Tierra Caliente, they're saying is from the hot lands. Is that close or correct?
Pretty good. Yeah. Like from hot land. Yeah.
From hot land.
Pretty
Okay.
good.
So my question is, what do you mean by that? I'm not sure what hot land means.
So basically, we play rhythms and music just from warmer countries. So
Okay.
there are really a lot of ways you could translate it, but yeah, it's a lot of stuff from the Caribbean, but not strictly the Caribbean. We also play some stuff from Brazil, and we even do some stuff from the United States that tends to be a little more southern.
Okay.
And
We'll talk.
yeah,
We'll talk more about the band, and thanks for that explanation. But first, I want to go around and I want to hear each of your musical story. How did you always know you wanted to be a professional musician? How did you get into this business? And if you could just maybe each go around the room, we could start with any of you.
sure. Let's start with Raul, our music director.
Sure, Raul.
Hi, I'm Raul, and then I started to be in the band. I actually joined the band like I'm the younger, like in terms of how long I've been in the band. So I just been in the band for a year and a half now, maybe, and then a few months I became the music director of the band, and then we've been working in like putting those Afro rhythms and then Brazilian and Caribbean rhythms like putting them in the band and making the rhythms, and then there are music that they already been doing like a bit more uh, rich in terms of uh, like how the Caribbean music is supposed to be like as the name of the band say, the Tierra Caliente. So that means like strong rhythms and very
Okay.
it's supposed
And we
to be
should
like
also say
very
that
happy.
we should mention too that you're the percussionist and backing vocal, one of the backing vocalists, correct? Do I have that
Yes,
correct?
yes,
Yes. Okay.
yes.
And so, Raul,
So
how did you become a professional musician? What is, did you grow up with music? Did you grow up playing instruments, or was it something that you've recently come onto?
well in Cuba, yes. In Cuba is very like music is it's just one of our
Just part of life?
tools of life. So this
Okay.
is like we don't we don't look at it as like career. We actually it's just part of our living. It's part of our identity, ourselves. So we always dancing. I'm listening to music since the moment like we wake up. So it's very easy
Nice.
to get influenced by that and then see yourself on the stage very soon.
Gotcha. Very cool. Who do we want to hear from next? Bronson, since you pointed to Raul, why don't you choose the next person to speak?
All right, let's go with Steve.
Okay. Steve Cochran, and we'll just mention you're a bass player, right, for the band?
Yes.
And you also do backing vocals?
Yes.
Okay.
And I fix the broken instruments too when Bronson breaks them. So it started for me. I was a little kid. I was obsessed with the record player at my grandparents' house. I remember I would play Chubby Checkers, The Twist, over and over and over again. The hole in the record kept getting so much bigger because I kept wearing out the center of the record. And then I started playing guitar, I guess when I was like 11, and played instruments in high school, was in the band. And I went to school for music. And that's when I got really serious about being a bass player. And and then, I've since then, as soon as I started playing the bass, that's when I really, really, really started to love music. Matter of fact, there was a band at high school that was like the cool guys, and I was playing guitar at the time, and they needed a bass player. My sister played bass in the school band, so I was like, "Crap, I should just bass is easy, but I'll go and I'll just kill it, So I stole her bass, took it to this because I really wanted to be in this band, and from the first note that I played, I was just totally obsessed with the bass after that.
Nice.
Just because it's like the driving force in the band, like it's and and then in the I went to school for music, then I left school for music and went to school for engineering, which is why I have my day job. And but in my day job, I've always worked around music with vinyl and cassettes and CDs. So I've been involved in audio and digital audio and all that stuff for a long time. In the 90s, I was really involved in the Philly music scene in my 20s.
I was in like a signed band, one of those bands that gets signed but never goes anywhere kind of thing. Played all over Philly, and yeah, and then you get older, you have kids, and I wasn't playing so much for a while, and then Bronson, he had an ad on Craigslist, and so I'm sitting there with my iPad, and I would check the ads every once in a while to see somebody needed a bass player, a guitar player, something, and I saw the ad, and it's this guy here, Bronson, like dancing around with all these colored houses and singing Spanish, and I was like, the heck is that? Like I'd never seen anything like it before, because to me Latin music was either like a big band, like a salsa group, or like merengue or
Mhm.
something, or or a band was like a rock band, or jazz or something like that. And here was something going totally different direction. So I answered the ad, and I was all nervous and everything. And I still don't speak Spanish fluently, and I've been in the
Okay.
band for 7 years, so that's pretty embarrassing.
Wow.
And we've even gone to Colombia numerous times, and I
Mhm.
start to pick stuff up as the weeks go on, and then I come home and I lose it again.
Gotcha. Let's
But I
let's
was
hear from. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was very lucky that so I auditioned, and Bronson and Papo picked me for some reason, and that was that.
Deserved.
Great. Should we hear from Yube
Guess
next?
it's my turn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go. Go ahead.
Okay. I'm ready for you.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Just tell
How
us
do you
your
start music
background.
real
Your-
quick?
All
yeah.
right. I started playing flute like senior year in high school, but before that, what really inspired me of the flute was the first time seeing Jethro Tull in 1977, and it was like it was crazy because somebody had this flute in the case on my senior year. I mean, I'm looking at, and I said, "Hey, is that a flute?" And the guy opens up the case, and I see the flute, and I fell in love with it. So I said, "Can I put it together?" He's like, "Sure." So I put it together, and the first notes that came out of this flute was Cross-Eyed Mary. So it really freaked me out. So I told the guy, "Wow, where can I get the flute? Where can I get a flute like this?" And he says, "Oh, I'll sell you this one." So he sold it to me for $25. I went
Wow.
home with put the vinyl records on, and the next day went to the school and asked the guidance counselor, "Hey, can you put me into music instead of drafting?" And he put me into music. But he asked me why first, and I took the flute and started playing him a tune. So then he put me to the music class. So then the
Nice.
teacher, he sits me down and he says, "Okay, let me see." First, he opens a drawer and he pulls out his flute. So he starts playing his little thing, what he was doing. And when I started playing the flute, he quickly put the flute back in the drawer and he shuts it. And he says, "I want you to go in that room there and play your heart out." And that's what I did all this
Nice.
time. It's been for the past over 40 years. And
Very cool.
but in between that, I've been a union iron worker since 1981. So
Okay.
the Philadelphia skyline, it's my signature.
Nice.
But here I
Nice.
am, I'm kind of like retired. So I'd rather
Okay.
stick with the music. I'm tired of climbing.
Cool.
Used to
Cool.
be a steel monkey. But anyway,
Bronson, we're up to you.
Yeah, so I always had music going on in my house. My parents always playing a lot of Beatles and Beach Boys and Mamas and the Papas, all the 60s music. And um, I did a lot of music kind of on and off throughout high school and college. And then in my 20s, in my mid-20s, started becoming, putting a lot of time into the bass guitar, which is my first instrument. I moved to South America. I was living in Buenos Aires, Argentina, for 2.5 years. And about close to my last year there, I started playing Latin music, playing music from the Caribbean and Brazilian music with musicians from the Caribbean and from Brazil who lived in Buenos Aires. So some Brazilians, there were, a couple of Cubans, there were some Colombians, and they started teaching me that. And I went to Brazil, I went to Colombia, and got into that kind of music, and sort of gave up on the other music I had been playing before because this was more fun. So, and then I was
Nice.
lucky enough to come back here in Philadelphia and find all these, awesome musicians that have had these very different backgrounds from me, but it taught me a lot.
Nice. So that brings us to the band. If we kind of talked about it. Now you sing songs in Spanish, English, and Portuguese. Is that correct?
Yep. Yeah.
Okay. Who grew up speaking Portuguese?
None of us.
Oh wow. Okay.
I spent, when I was in Buenos Aires, Argentina, I started making a lot of friends with Brazilian people and studying the music. And then I went to Brazil for 5 months and just studied music and picked up the language. And
Okay.
I didn't grow up speaking Spanish either. I learned in school and traveling.
I wouldn't know that watching all your videos.
Yeah.
And you perform in South America a lot and in other places, and obviously they bring you back, so you must do a pretty good job at it.
Great audiences there.
Can you maybe let our audience know what to expect? Raul's back. Welcome. What should our audience expect for the concert you're going to have here? No, it's okay.
It's going to be a lot of energy, a lot of rhythm, and a great opportunity, since it's Friday night, great opportunity for you to just, close your eyes, move your body, be in the moment and forget about whatever happened during the past week.
Nice. And you talk about move your body. Getting ready to speak with you guys, I've been listening to you a lot to get familiar with you. And I am not somebody, I have 2 left feet and I'm so unrhythmic. It's not even funny. It should be a crime. And, but I couldn't help but sit still. Like there were times where I had to turn you off because I was up dancing in my office instead of doing my work. So
that's the idea.
It's definitely, it's gonna, if it's making me move, it's gonna make everybody move. So it's gonna be a fun time. I'm really looking forward to it. If you guys can just hang tight a second, I'd like to show a quick little clip that you submitted of a recent performance. I believe it was during the pandemic. Do you have anything you want to say about what we're gonna see, Bronson? What it's from?
Yeah, so this was a show that we did. It was a fundraiser event for the Sweet Relief Musicians Fund. That is something that is helping musicians stay on their feet during the pandemic, because obviously it's been a hard year for all artists. And this was a show that we just did on March 11th at the Ardmore Music Hall.
Cool.
And
all right, cool.
Yeah, it's a very recent.
All right. So let's watch it and we'll be right back.
El sonido no es fácil de lograr, hay que laburarlo y a veces sufrir. Si tú quieres tocar este son, métele flow con el corazón. Sonido, repite tan tan tan, tan sonido, con mi ritmo. El sonido, repite tan tan tan, tan sonido, con mi ritmo. Oye.
Very nice. Very cool. Again, I can't wait to see you guys, and I know our audience is going to love you. Our tickets are going fast, so anyone looking to come and join us on April 30th, be sure to not wait and reserve your tickets. They're free, but you got to reserve your tickets because during the pandemic, we are limited to the capacity, even outdoors. So every week, we're about to end the program, but every week we have a question from one of our university students from the commercial music program. And here's the question for you guys. Does your band work with a manager or agent? Either way, and especially if you don't have a manager, do you have how do you go about promoting yourselves, getting gigs, and also having time to focus on your musicianship, writing and recording new songs, etc.?
That's a great question. We occasionally work with a few different agents, but mostly we are self-managed band at this point.
Okay.
which has ups and downs, but it affords us a lot of freedom to do exactly what we want and go wherever we want.
Does your agent?
Uh-huh.
Does the agent that you work with typically help you with U.S. gigs, or is it Colombia or Brazil?
Yeah, that would be within the U.S.
Oh, okay.
Otherwise it's an ultimate balancing act of managing the business side and the creative side, and the creating new things and the working on the old stuff. And that's one of the really fun. I mean, I think this is the position that most musicians find themselves in nowadays, where you got to have a very comprehensive understanding of the music industry and in order to do this.
I'm just curious to tag on to that question. How different is the booking process, or is it pretty much the same between here and when you perform in Brazil or Puerto Rico or anywhere else that you go?
I would say it really depends on the kind of venue we're playing. When we play in those countries, we tend to rely on musician friends and other friends to kind of generate some of the performances and the contracts and stuff.
Cool.
Mm-hmm. Well, but mostly, it's a whole lot of word of mouth. So that's what we really have relied on. We go and play somewhere, and literally people will walk down the street 2 blocks away, and then they come to see us and take a CD, and they give it to their uncle who owns a concert hall or whatever, and that's kind of how it's been.
Nice. So if I could just hear from each of you again, just real quick, if you could just maybe just share what your favorite part about playing with this band is, or what you've noticed, the reactions in audience, and then we're gonna hear about how we can follow you on social media and learn more, and wrap it up because we're out of time. So why don't we start with Raul? What's your favorite part about playing with this group?
Well, my favorite part of playing with these guys is like how the musicianship and friendship be within the musicians in the band, and how much beautiful harmony and then good energy. The energy with this band is really, really, really good. And then when they are on the stage, they perform like from their heart, which is something very special to to get in a band. And then they are just beautiful people, which I'm very lucky to move to Philly. As I moved to Philly like 1 year and a half ago, and then I've been so lucky to to meet them and be able to play with them and share the stage with them and my knowledge, and learn some from them as well in terms of music, because there are some music that they play that we don't play. We don't get a chance to play that in Cuba that much, because we play like more salsa and other stuff. But it's so great to be able to be so diverse, especially because the band is very diverse in terms of rhythms and other different styles of music that they do. So yeah.
Cool. Very cool. Thanks, Raul. Steve, what's your answer?
Oh, well, I mean, the music is very energetic, rhythmic. The traveling has been a very great part of it. Like you said, you get all jumpy and movie when you hear the music. It's totally audience participation. Like no one sits still when we play, which is fantastic. The musicianship, everybody in the band is a really great person and a great musician, which I have not seen often in my life. I also really enjoy the fact that Bronson will book us anywhere. So like you said, we don't have he's basically the manager and the agent. So we've played everywhere from like small like birthday parties for a couple kids all the way up to giant music festivals with lights and lasers and smoke machines. Like it's just we do it all, and we have a great time doing it.
That's great. Yube.
Yes. All I could say is that the chemistry in this band is so awesome. I mean, everybody gets along, and we're all on the same page. And I love the traveling also, and we have a great time. I mean, there's never a dull moment, and I love this guy. That's all there is to it.
You too, buddy.
Bronson, I'll give you the final word.
Yeah, so I agree. I agree with these guys. Just the longer I'm around, and we're about to have in about 3 days our 7-year anniversary as a band, and so the longer that I'm alive and the longer I'm in the band, I realize, that the music is great, but the most important thing really is the friendship, and so there's that, and also sometimes we get up on stage, and for me, as the leader of the group, and I've written, most of these songs that we play, and I look around, and sometimes it's surreal. I said, what did I do to get to deserve these amazing musicians? They're giving every ounce of energy they have. They're putting all their heart into these songs, and songs just start out as an idea or a dream or a thought, and then to make it into something real, and having these musicians it's an embarrassment of riches. I think our two percussionists, I think they're, maybe, I think they're two, if not the two very best percussionists in Philadelphia, and they have come from such different backgrounds, a Cuban and a Puerto Rican. Mm-hmm. That mix is really cool. And then a flute player that can just take the energy, and take the spotlight off of me for a second, and just, honestly, we could all just walk away and he could just play, and the show wouldn't die. We have take a bathroom break, and then Steve is just fantastic. When he started, the music was new to him, and I'm a bass player too, so I had to kind of guide him at first and help him write the bass lines. And then at some point along the way, I just got to see him take off and just leave me in the dust as a bass player. Cool. And so that's, just getting to play with these guys, I think is the most important thing.
Nice. Well, we're out of time, guys. Thanks for coming on today, and I'm looking forward to seeing you guys in person.
Thank you, Brian.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
How can people that are interested in learning more about you, is that the website down there on the screen?
Yep, that's our website, and you can also find us on Instagram, just at De Tierra Caliente Music, or Facebook is also De Tierra Caliente Music.
Great. Well, thank you guys, and we'll see you guys soon.
Okay. Thanks a lot. Looking forward to it.
Me too. Thank you all for tuning in today. As always, we appreciate it. Please subscribe, like, share, let people know about this program so we can keep it going. I want to thank today's guests, Yubi Nieves, Raul Cisneros, Bronson Tennis, and Steve Cochran from De Tierra Caliente. And make sure you come see them on April 30th. That's a Friday night here at Kutztown University. Again, you have to get tickets for that, so be sure to go to kupresents.org and tune in next week. We have another different program. We're chatting with some of the folks from the KU Art Society, and they have a brand new KU Arts Hall of Fame. So we're going to learn about the society and about the Hall of Fame, and they have their new ceremony coming up. So that'll be interesting to talk to them about that. In the meantime, I'm Brian Zelmer from KU Presents, and I do look forward to seeing you at Schaefer this month. But as always, we'll meet right back here every week on Wednesdays at 4 p.m. Eastern, and as we come to you from the Green Room.